G'day, Bruce here, Barking Dog Bim, and welcome to another edition of Scripting Adventure. We're continuing the series on creating a fully parametric door in GDL. Last episode we set up our part and scripted the WALLHOLE. In this episode we're going to script the door frame using the buffer functionality so that we don't have to retype our coordinates. We also use this same functionality to turn off and on the overhead indicator light, really starting to demonstrate the power and flexibility of GDL over those other more rigid options I've shown previously. Now I want to draw my frame. So I've got my WALLHOLE, I've got all my coordinates worked out for the outline. They're going to be the same coordinates for the outline of my frame. So I want to reuse these coordinates, but I don't want to retype them, because if something changes, then I have to find every instance where I've used these coordinates and change them. It'd be much better if I can just have the one set of coordinates and go from there. So there is a way we can do that, and I've covered this also in a previous video, using the put statement to put stuff into memory temporarily. So we'll take all of these, we'll shift them to above my command, and instead of using WALLHOLE in front, I'll do put. And what that does is that takes all of these coordinates that I've just typed out and puts them into temporary memory until I clear that memory. So under here, WALLHOLE, instead of having my number of coordinate lines hard-coded, I will go NSP, which tells me the number of stored parameters, and I'll divide that by 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 coordinates per line. So if I take the number of everything in my memory divided by 3, that will give me the number of lines I'm after. And if I said get NSP, get the number of stored parameters, that would get all of those and clear the memory. But I don't want to do that. I want to use them, which will use all of these coordinates and leave them in the memory. So then I can come down here and do my frame. I've already set my building material up here. Let's set the resolution as well. Resolution will be independent to the frame, so we'll add it up here at the top. We'll go resolve, which sets the resolution of my curves, and the parameter I want to use for that is under my 3D representation, GS resolve. Now under my frame, what do I want to do? I want to use a prism underscore statement, and I want it to be the same deal. What does a prism underscore look like? You'll find prism underscore under basic shapes, 3D shapes, basic shapes, prism underscore, and that draws a polygon and extrudes it. So you'll notice that when I'm doing these videos, I'm looking these up all the time, and I'm doing that for your benefit. It's actually very handy that once you've got an object that you're happy with working, just copy the script across. But that'll be the same number of polygons, NSP divided by 3. How high will it be? It will be GS frame thick. GS frame thick. And this time we'll get the number of stored parameters to clear the buffer. Check my script. It's okay. Save. Have a look at my result. There is my chunky frame. Now, of course, I haven't cut it out yet. That will require more coordinates. But by using the same coordinates as my WALLHOLE, I've already done the work. No need to do it again. I just use the same coordinates. In between cutting my WALLHOLE, which just has the outline, and drawing my frame, which, let's just hide this for now so I can see what I need to draw. I need to add some coordinates to account for this indicator light and the cutout of the frame. So in between cutting my WALLHOLE and drawing my frame, I need to add some more coordinates. Now, because I'm cutting a hole, I need to let Archicad know that I'm going to do that, and you do that by copying the final coordinate line and giving it a status code of -1. That says I've finished my primary contour. Now I'm going to start doing a hole. G'day, Bruce here. Just interrupting this video to let you know that what I just told you, not quite right. You don't copy the last coordinate line, you copy the first coordinate line. Now I didn't pick up on it because it shouldn't have worked. So that intrigued me. And what I did was create a quick object to try and figure out what was going on. This is just a dummy object I've thrown together. And here we've got our outline prism with the -1 status code, which is duplicating the first coordinate line here and then the hole. And this is what we end up with. Now, if I put in any other coordinate here, let's put in the last one, I get an error message. Start and end points of a sub-polygon must be identical. That's what should happen if I don't get my coordinates right. We'll just comment this one out and bring this one in. What this one is, it's the same base polygon, but what I've done is I've cut a circular hole, and a circular hole only needs 2 coordinate points, defining the center, and then a full circle. I don't need a -1 status code to finish it. And that works. But you can see here that this coordinate line here with the -1 status code is not a duplicate of the first coordinate line. By rights, that should not work. I should get an error message, but it works just fine. All right. Well, let's comment this one out. Let's bring this one into play. Again, the same base polygon, and I've just done a random coordinate line for the -1 status code, closing off that polygon and starting a hole. And this has got curved edges, straight and curved, mixed. And again, I've finished it off with a random nonsensical -1 status code. By rights, this should not work. This coordinate line should match this coordinate line. It should be 0, 0, -1. And this coordinate line should match this coordinate line. But for some reason, when you mix in your curve status codes, it just works. I don't know why, but there you go. Do with that what you will. Let's get back to the video. So what's my hole? A -2 to there, minus a leaf width, or frame width rather. So it'll be A2, it'll be that. A2 minus frame width, it will be frame width in the Y. Now I'm able to refer to this sketch that I've already drawn due to the previous videos I've done. You often won't have this in place, but it's critical that you have these outlines drawn down somewhere. You just can't keep it in your head. So I have a sketch pad handy. In most instances, I'll sketch it out. I'll put an X on where I need to put my coordinates and work it out that way. Just have something at hand that you can use. So this will be this point here. So that'll be, actually, in thinking about this, I'm going to have to draw this point first. And the reason for that is that I can't draw an arc tangential to the last polyline vector if I don't have a previous polyline vector to draw tangential to. So if I start here and draw that way, it will then know how to do the tangent. If I start here and draw there, I'll have to use a different status code. Can be done, but it's a lot simpler just to start there. So I'll do -A2 to here, plus GS frame width, plus my jam radius. And you might think, well, hang on, this is inside a bit more. It's going to be a different radius, not to get to that point, because they all have a common center point because they're concentric. So you'll see that the jam radius lines up through here. Excellent. So -A2 plus GS frame width plus jam R will get me to that point. And then I go across to, and it's GS frame width and it's 15. Let's do 15 for now. I'll work out the smoothing later. Then we go to the positive side, plus A2, minus that. Oh, actually, no, it won't be frame width. It won't be that. It'll just be that. Minus jam radius. A2 minus jam radius. GS frame width 15. Positive A2 minus not jam radius, but GS frame width. And it'll be, this is one of the more cumbersome aspects of GDL, just working out your coordinates. We're used to drawing, just using our mouse and our lines and etc. and drawing. But when you have to plot each coordinate point, it slows you down a bit. And that'll be a 10, 15. Get it around there. So I'll just finish off these last few coordinates instead of boring you with it. So that's A to minus GS frame width. So we're on the inside here. We're going up to B minus jam radius, which is here. Then we're going to, we want to go to here, which is jam radius. And then B minus jam, and then that will be 10, 15 to there. Now I'm reversing it. So it'll be minus and plus. It won't be a curve, it'll be just 15. And then we go to this one. It will be a minus and a plus. B minus jam radius. So that will be the arc. Down to this one, which should be that one, which is minus and plus. Is that right? Down to there. But it's not an arc. And then we've got this one. Yep, same position, but this time it's 10, 15. And then we do the same one. And it's a minus 1. So we've put in all of these coordinates, which will start here, take me around here and back up there. Added those to the buffer. So I've got these coordinates plus these coordinates sitting in the buffer, and then we'll draw our prism. Let's see, did I get it right? Script says it's okay. Let's have a look at my 3D view. It's looking okay. Apart from the clunkiness there. So let's fix that. I actually don't want any lines in here, do I? There shouldn't be any lines at all. So all of these will have a 64 added to them. Gone. Gone. So I'll just do that to all of my lines. So there's my frame. Excellent. Save that. Have a look at it in the Archicad environment. Ta-da! I can set this reveal. And it just makes use of that Archicad functionality. I change my resolution from 16, say 32. Try and keep your resolution to multiples of 4 so that you get polygons meeting on cardinal points. I've covered that in a previous video as well. I'll link up there. You can see that's a lot smoother. Undo. Chunky. Redo. Nice. All right. Now I need to cut out that indicator light. Now I put in an option to turn on and off that indicator light. So if I turn that off, I actually can't find it in here. The reason for that is I've hidden the entire menu. See that red X there? So everything that's indented under that menu is hidden. So let's show that. There's my door frame. Then I've got my stuff here. Right, let's have a play around with the frame width, 20 mil. Undo. Redo. Excellent. Parametric. You don't get that with these options, do you? Righto. GDL's fantastic. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Right, back to my 3D script. So I've got my indicator light on and off here. If I turn that off, I don't want this little bump out happening. So what's that little bump out? That's right here. So what I'll do, I'll get rid of that and I'll say if indicator on, then we want those coordinates in there. We will put those coordinates in there, indent these so that they belong to that command. That's only for our reference. GDL won't care if they're indented or not. And then we'll put the rest of them. So under normal circumstances, we'll draw the frame around to here. And then if the indicator's on, we'll draw these coordinates. Otherwise, they'll get skipped altogether and the code will just jump to this point here. So it will exclude that indicator. Now with my if statement, what that is saying is if indicator on equals 1. Now in GDL, 1 is true, 0 is false. We're looking for a true result to drop into here. So getting rid of that equals 1, if indicator on is true, so if it's 1, that means the same thing. So it's just a shortcut way of doing your logical tests. Let's save this, have a look at my 3D, turn off my indicator light, put this in elevation, indicator light is off. It's gone. Nice. Can't do that with these options, can you now? Brilliant. Love it. All right. Let's draw that little hole there. So we do that using the same methodology. So WALLHOLE. We'll put a little comment here saying frame hole, indicator lights. What's that going to be? So to draw a full circle, you need to set your center point, which will be 0 in the X, B plus divided by 2. So that'll take me, give me my center point there, 900. And then we draw a circle, which will be indicator diameter divided by 2, because we do the radius, not the diameter. 360 degrees, and it's status code of 4000. Full circle using center point and radius. Radius 360, 4000. We want it to draw each edge, but we want those to be smoothed. So that should work, but we only do that if our indicator's turned on. So if our indicator's on, then we put those extra coordinates in, and if. Let's check our 3D view. Got something wrong. It's drawn a hole, but I got my Y coordinate wrong. What did I do? B is to the top here. So that actually needs to be B minus frame width. So I want to come to this point here and then add half of that distance there. That should do it. There it is. Now if I turn my indicator off, and if I change it in here, I'm changing the default settings, so make sure you change it back. Gone. Excellent. That is what we're after. And there's no lines in there. It's been smoothed out. Good stuff. Now time for the leaf. Let's do the leaf. Well, we'll wrap this one up there. Now you know how to use the buffer to store your coordinates for use in more than one command. Next up, we'll start scripting our door leaf. I'll see you there.